This happened. All right, looks like we're live. Welcome and shalom on this, I think it's Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. It's 9:45 p.m. Central Time, where I'm at, and many others. And welcome, friends. I need to pull my chair up a little bit more, but there we go. The dog just grumbled under my desk. She didn't like me doing that. Anyway. Oh, I tried to get a picture and it was anyway. I tried to get a picture off of this website and it was about the size of a postage stamp. That's not gonna work. Anyway, so as you can see by the title, we're going through another Canaanite god. That was actually, this one might be better. Oh yeah. Got hieroglyphic. Nice. All right, yeah. So we have a picture, as you would call it, Canaanite god, which is also a Hebrew god / Hebrew / whatever. I think there's been a few areas that worship the god Resbeph. I should say how you pronounce that. Resbeph, I think. Reseph. Resheph. Resbeph. Huh. Let's see, pronounce. Let's see how you have to pronounce it. Oh, my computer is locking up here. I got kind of a lot of tabs open. Not a lot, but anyway, a few. It just tends to slow down when I do that. How to pronounce Resbeph? How to say Resbeph in English? You'd think that they would have a Resbeph. Oh. Anyway, I think it's Resbeph. So anyway, it's another god. I think this one's interesting because it is a god of war and plagues, and it's also Canaanite / Hebrew god. And what did the Hebrews god bring? War and plagues. Well, one of the gods. Let's see, Resbeph name. Let me see if they'll pronounce it for me. Do they have a pronunciation? Let's see. No. Oh, it's attached with the planet Mars. Interesting. What does the name Resbeph mean? Means the burner or the ravager. Interesting. I'm still trying to figure out how to pronounce it. Usually they always have a pronunciation thing right at the beginning. Anyway, that is interesting. Associated with the planet, major cult center. I got quite a few. Planet Mars, god of war and disease. Actually, I need to turn that lights on so I can see it better. Well, actually, so you guys can see it better. I can see it just fine. I don't know how to get this black background off of here, so it's just it's hard to see. My cat stepped on it one day when I was outside, and I don't know how to get it back, so He made it with the black background. Anyway. So as a matter of fact, it's this guy right here. He's sleeping. He's been sick for a really long time, but he's just starting to get better now. All change of a diet, that's all. Forget the vets, man. They're just there to keep the vets. Oh, they don't know. Put them on prednisone. Do this, do that. In the meantime, my cat's getting traumatized, and I mean, if I had kept on the prednisone or whatever the steroids, he'd be dead by now. So anyway, they weren't getting at the origin of why he's sick. And until you do that, you can cover up the problems all you want. Anyway, it just usually comes down to diet with, it's people, animals. Usually has to do with their diet. So anyway, he's getting older, but anyway, he's looking the best he's looked for a very long time. Anyway, so hopefully he's coming back. He's gained 1 pound back, which is awesome. He was down to 5.7 pounds from 12 or 13 pounds. He was less than half his weight, skin and bones. And anyway, so he's coming back. Wait for him to hit 7 pounds soon. Anyway, I'll be happy. So anyway, that is the plan for tonight. We're going to talk about Resbeph, which we'll see how that kind of ties into the Bible. It's kind of funny that at night the bugs attract to the light outside and inside. Oh, there's another cat outside. So I try to keep the lights off outside. Just attracts bugs, mosquitoes. Mostly mosquitoes, which, yeah, we got a lot of those here. So anyway, don't need to attract more of those. So, that is the plan. We're gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna pull up the picture of this. Sorry, guys, I had to move my chair. My dogs are kind of mad. I take my shoes off, man. There we go. I was stepping on my dog accidentally. All right. Let me shut this off because I'm going to try to. Got a delay on it. I'm going to try to pull up a picture of Resbeph. Let's see. Canaanite God. Oh, you know what else? I pulled up that map. I would like to map out these gods because they're all coming out of the same kind of general area. That's not it. Oh, here. Here's the hieroglyphic of. I keep forgetting his name. Resbeph. They still didn't give me a pronunciation. Resbeph. Anyway, God of plagues and war. Also in the Hebrew Bible. Actually, the name is, well, this God is referenced in the Bible, in the Old Testament. And one of who was it? One of the Levites, I think. Somebody named one of their kids after this thing. Or coincidentally named their kid Resbeph. Anyway. Well, I'll go over that because I got the Bible verses for that. So anyway, this thing is known by the Canaanites and also, well, actually several areas, but also the Hebrews. The Hebrews knew about this God. So, and why? Because they're in the land of Canaan. That's where they settle, right? In the land of Canaan, where the Canaanites were already living for thousands of years. But anyway, so that's we're gonna go over that. So, and I think it's because there's like a mixture. We can see that there's a mixture of gods. You got El, Yahweh, Jehovah. It's all these mixture of gods and Canaanite gods at that. Even some of them or whatever, and if not, maybe all of them. I don't know. But it all kind of melts into Israel, you know, in modern days. So anyway, where am I looking for a tab? What tabs I can open this one. So yep, we got the move this over a little bit. Here's a list of them. I got that other list too, but it's in black. It's hard to see with the white writing. It just it's hard. Does not show up good on a video. All right. Oh, that's right. I can't blow this up. Keep forgetting when you're on a live stream, you can't adjust you can't like blow up any pictures. So anyway, list of Canaanite deities. We've gone through a few of these. Dang on all these. But anyway, tonight we are going over hold on, this one right here, Resbeph. Oops. Yeah, Resbeph, god of plague and healing. And also more. He's got a few descriptions on him. Anyway, that's one that we're going over. Of the Canaanite god deity, some people would call him. Maybe shut these as I go. I find this interesting because we have seen this in other sun gods. This thing right here, it looks like bullhorns, which it kind of is, but it's kind of like a sun. Anyway, I've seen that before. And we've seen the stocking cap. That looks like a bottle of champagne sitting on ice. And we've seen that. That actually looks like Bride of Frankenstein. Remember? Her hair looked just like that, actually. Even had the stripes. Let's see. All right, let me pull up the one I'm going to read off of. Canaanite god Resbeph. Resbeph was usually believed to be related to Mot. Remember Mot? The god of sterility and death? It says, but he also seems to have been a god of well-being, plenty, and fertility. And in that respect, he may have been a form of the god Baal. Ooh, remember we learned about that last night too. Baal, Yahweh, El, Yahweh, Jehovah, Baal. Who is Resbeph in the Bible? You know what? Actually, we're going to look at that. Echoes of Resheph's role as a god of plague has been identified in Deuteronomy 32. A lot more than that. Deuteronomy 32:24 and Psalm. Actually, I'm going to show you this. You probably can't read it. See when it's black like that background, it's really hard to read. But it says, "Who is Resbeph in the Bible? Echoes of Resheph's role as a god of plague has been identified in Deuteronomy 32:24 and Psalm 78:48. In both cases, he is represented as a tool of divine wrath. So, like God, they say, "Oh, God, his wrath is coming," and then when God wrath when he pours out his wrath, it's either like disease or plague or war, or pestilence kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's where this thing comes in. I think this is like the Egyptian version of it. But 1 second. I'm tethered here. I guess I can unplug it. Because it's got the Ankh, so this might be the Egyptian version picture of it. But the other version, actually, I don't think he had an Ankh. But anyway, here's the original, the Canaanite one right there. I gotta watch out. My cat bit me today because he was like sleeping on here, like he is right here. And I was looking for my charger, the other end of it, because I was uploading some pictures and I need to charge my phone. Anyway, it was right on the desk here, just 2 seconds earlier. So I thought he must be laying on it. So instead of disturbing him, I snuck my hand up underneath him by his shoulder and was trying to feel underneath to see if it's there. And he turned around and bit me like a rattlesnake. I got 2 fang prongs on the top of my wrist and 2 fang holes in the bottom of my wrist. So I had 4 puncture wounds that were bleeding. He got me good, man, like a rattlesnake bite. Anyway, I don't know what that was about. So now I'm kind of leery to even touch him. It's like, what the heck? I couldn't have thought it was like something sneaking up on him. It's me and my arms attached. You know what I mean? To me. Anyway. So this Resbeph thing, I think, so like it says, Resbeph is usually believed to be related to Mot. Remember Mot, the god of sterility and death? Well, so I think that's the Egyptian version of him with the Ankh. You got that version, but yeah, I'm getting too close to my cat. He's got that. But it says here there's 2 scriptures here, but I got more than 2 scriptures. I don't want to have to reach by the cat, but here I got a lot of scriptures actually. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scriptures that actually like reference this thing, this deity or whatever you want to call it. So that is Resbeph. And now plagues. Okay, now just to refresh our memory. And I should be pulling up this map like every time we do these, because let's see, the lowest I can go is 25. Because here's this map here. I love this map. This early ancient map of the land of Canaan, Syria, Babylonia, Akkadian Empire, Assyria, and this is all Mesopotamia. And you got Ur down there. And anyway, there's Egypt down there. There's Jerusalem there, where they invaded the Canaanites. But anyway, like most of these gods, they'll tell you like, well, they're going to originate, Canaanite gods are going to originate around here, but a lot of them originate or just all anywhere. Is Babylonian. All the gray, the striped gray is Mesopotamia, and that goes back to 10,000 BC. I mean, the earliest 4,000, 2,000 to 4,000, that is year and summer down there, but it goes way past that. It goes down to Mesopotamia. It's 10,000 BC. Hi, Kathy. I see you started the study, so I'll listen. Had a good day. Awesome. Awesome, D. Yeah, I'm just kind of going over the another Canaanite god. And this one is the god of war and pestilence, which is, and the Bible refers to this god, and maybe not by name, but it is the God that, and what do we have in the Old Testament? We got the 10 plagues. We've got war. And so when God has wrath, whenever there's wrath, the God is wrathful, which I think is funny because so you'll see every time there's wrath involved, you get Resbeph. And Resbeph, I mean, kind of sounds like wrath, Resbeph. Anyway, wrath, Resbeph. But yeah, glad you had a good day. I did too. I just worked around my house. I mean, my yard, I should say. Getting her done. But that's good. You had a good Tuesday? Yeah. I think it was in the low 80s today, but man, it didn't feel hot, but I think I got overheated. I got a weird headache in the back of my head. Usually I get when I overheat. Anyway. So Resbeph in the Bible, echoes of Resheph's role as a god of plague have been identified in Deuteronomy and 78 and Psalm 78. Which like I said, I got more scriptures than that, but we're going to here's some pictures of the thing, the deity. I mean, I guess it's a male deity. And Resbeph, that's a picture that I showed. And I think, like I said, I think that's the Egyptian version of Resbeph. There's the Canaanite version. And that's the Phoenician god, Resbeph. Canaanite. And it's funny, Canaanite with the Ankh. Well, yeah, it's an Ankh. But anyway, so that's what the deity looks like. Sometimes the statues are always missing the hands. Actually, it's amazing they're even intact at all. You know what I mean? And I think this is fun here. This actually could look like a Shriner with the hat on. Resbeph in the Bible. Here's Habakkuk 3. Let me see if that's on my list. Yeah, so this is one of them on my list. Deuteronomy 32. Yeah, this is 2 of them on my list. Hold on a second. I just want my cat to bite me. Oh, his deal was. All right. All right, so here's 2 scriptures that are in the Old Testament about this thing. Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 3 to 5 says, God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. The brightness was like the sun. Rays came forth from his hand, where his power lay hidden. Before him went pestilence, which is Deber in parentheses, and plague, which is Resbeph. Pestilence is that thing. And plague is Resbeph. Hey, Richard, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. What if all these gods are really extraterrestrial? They could be. I mean, who knows? Hey, Grace, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Good to see Grace and Richard and Dee. Good to see you guys tonight. I mean, they could be. I don't know. I just don't know about the extraterrestrials. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it's like man-made. I'm not sure, but there's definitely like spirits and stuff like that. Are these things spirits? Because we know there's evil spirits. I mean, are those the deities? You know what I mean? You know, have you ever wondered like these spirits that are all over the place? I guess some people can see them. Krishna, I guess we'll find out. Yeah. Yeah, I remember a long time ago there was I told you guys I think this long time there was a movie and the grandma died and the famous Russian ice skater Oksana Bayul. It was her story. Anyway, and they tried to tell the girl that the grandma died. There was the only family she had or something besides the coach. And she said, where's she? And then they but anyway, they referred to death as now they know the secret. Yep. Krishna, they have powers. Supposedly they're attacking Indians in Peru. Oh, the spirits or what? Krishna attacking Indians in Peru, the people in Peru? Huh. I don't know. A lot of, I don't know, different cultures have ways to, I don't know, pray against it or, I don't know, they got some kind of warfare. Aliens? Oh, the aliens are? Maybe. But what are aliens? Are they demons? You mean? If I think if there are aliens, I think they're demons, personally. But who knows? Did you see the video of the face peeling? No, I did not. When was that? No. Richard did? No, I did not. A face peeling. Oh my goodness. You know, I don't know. Now with video and stuff, it was creepy. You know, with video, people are catching all kinds of stuff they never could catch before. People didn't have videos in their hands up till recently, you know what I mean? I remember in 2011 when we saw two sunsets, not one person back then owned a camera on their phone. That was 2011. Nobody had video, nobody had camera. So it's been not long, maybe 15 years that everybody's had a camera. I don't know. Yeah, I should look into that. I think it's the deep state killing off the Indian people to get their land. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, Richard. That's how they get their land. They kill people. As a matter of fact, the same thing. I heard that's what's going on in Hawaii. And you know what's weird? Remember that? Remember that alert in Maui? You know, they just burnt Maui down with, Mountain Dew. Houston, Texas is hot tonight, is it? Um, but I guess everybody's house burnt except for Oprah Winfrey's. Everybody's house but Oprah's burnt down. Yeah, I think so too. You know, it wouldn't be the first time. They did it here in America. My son-in-law some kind of cryptic animals last week. They saw some kind of cryptic animals last week. Described them as prehistoric kangaroos. Yeah, history does repeat itself. You got that right. Where am I from? I'm in Minnesota. I'm in Minnesota. It's beautiful here. It's in the 70s right now. Well, Grace, remember I told you that time we saw the half pig, half human, and it with the hair and it had a top hat on. Yep, I'm from Minnesota. Grace is here in Minnesota, and you're in Texas, Richard. Siouxland, yeah, actually, yeah, we've got. I think it's Ojibwe. We got some casinos. I got a casino right up the road. I'm in. I can't remember. Was it Ojibwe? No, I used to be in St. Paul, but no. Houston, Texas. Yeah. No. I moved out of the cities 5 years ago. I'm way up north now. I'm in a cabin in the woods. Ojibwe are in Manitoba. Well, I don't know. Our casino is banned of the Ojibwe, isn't it, Grace? I don't know. And we got in the Mystic Lake. Yeah, Ojibwe, because our casino is a band of Ojibwe, and then we also have Mystic Lake, which is south of the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis. If you go south of that, that is that's a different tribe. Is it Navajo? I can't remember. Can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, we have the casino is banned in Ojibwe, yeah, but originally they're Canucks. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I live near a reservation and we got a lot of reservations. Too cold, yeah. Yep, it's not for everybody. I just saw a wintry postcard today from online and I thought, oh, I'm not looking forward to that. All right. So Russia. Canadian. Yeah. Actually sometimes Canada is warmer than we are in Minnesota, which is weird. Not all of it, but some of it. Weird. Actually I'm gonna pull up this thing of plagues. As well, remember the 10 plagues from Egypt. So this Resbeph, this Canaanite god, is in the Bible for sending plagues. Whenever God's wrath, whenever God's pours out his wrath, as you would say. So I'll pull up a few scriptures. You'll see it's wrath involved. When the God is jealous or gets angry and has wrath, this God sends out plagues, and they do reference this God. So this is the God that probably sent out the plagues of Egypt. I don't know. All right, Grace. Turns water into blood, frogs, gnats, lice, Lord of the Flies. Maybe Lord of the Flies helped out with that one. But it is pestilence. He sends pestilence, disease on livestock, unhealable boils, hail and fire. And this thing can do that too. Locust, darkness, death of firstborn. So it is, this thing is capable of probably most of these. Like I said, maybe the Lord of the Flies helped out with the fly thing. But it probably could do that on its own too. Let me find, so that's two of them. Let's see. So I got a few. I got a few. Let's see. Psalm, Deuteronomy, First Chronicles, Song, Habakkuk. So here's Habakkuk in Deuteronomy 32. So here's two of them where this thing is this deity, where I think it's a boy, Resha is referred to as, like I said, when God's wrath gets poured out, this thing is what's doing it. So Habakkuk 3:3-5. God came in from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. The brightness was like the sun. Rays came forth from his hand, where his power lay hidden. Before him went pestilence, which is Deber, and plague, which is Resha. This thing, the plagues, followed close behind. So pestilence first, then him, a plague. And then Deuteronomy 32:23 says, I will cause evil to come upon them, expand all my arrows against them, sucked dry by hunger, which is the Rab, remember, epithet of Mot. Remember Mot, the starving, the hunger, and fought against by pestilence, which is Resheph, pestilence, and bitter poisonous one, destruction, which I guess is Chuteb, poisonous one. So this thing brings death, plagues. And so there's two of the references. Let me cross them out. That's Deuteronomy and Habakkuk. And what else we got? Resbeph, Canaan, land of Canaan. Canaanite, netherworld, god of the pests, appearing as an element in Mari and Sargonic personal names. As a god, Resbeph did not have a significant place in pantheon of Ugarit, since his name was Semitically assimilated with the word pestilence. So that's, his name is basically Resbeph, pestilence. See Legend of Kret. All right, this is some translation. Now, this is interesting. Resbeph is identified with Nergal, the Akkadian god of the netherworld and pestilence. For further data, whatever, go to that. One mythological fragment reads, Resbeph, the Lord of Errol. And we've seen different versions of this because we've gone over the Egyptian gods, the Olympian gods, 12 Olympian gods. We've gone over the Roman gods. We've gone over all those gods. So you've seen kind of, we've seen different versions, I guess you should say. Hi, Omar. Good to see you tonight. Hope you had a wonderful Tuesday. Hope all is well. Now, in the Bible, while Resbeph is not mentioned in the Bible as a god, the word Resbeph appears various times. Resbeph as a personal name in 1 Chronicles 7:25. Now, some scholars assume that there's some confusion here, questioning the probability of a Canaanite theophoric personal name in the Ephraimite family. Ephraimite. But the name may not necessarily mean the Canaanite god. So, actually, I'll show you what they're talking about in First Chronicles. Somebody named their kid this. Somebody named their kid. Who was it? Ephraim. What was it? 7:25. First Chronicles. First Chronicles 7:25. Right, go down here. 7:25. Yeah, it doesn't matter who. We don't care about denominations or religions on this channel. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you believe in on this channel. Everybody's welcome. Ephraim, yeah, exactly. Ephraim, descendants of Ephraim. So here it is. His daughter, let's see. What is it? 7:25 right here. So his daughter Shur, both, okay, Rephan was his son. So he did name his son Ephraim. That's really interesting because Ephraim is very similar to Rephaim. Ephraim. Rephaim, what's your dad's name? Ephraim and Rephaim. Anyway, so Ephraim named his kid Rephaim, which is this, and I'm sorry, Resbeph, his son. So he's got Repha and Resbeph. That's the name of that god right there, Resbeph. So I don't know, some scholars say that's nothing to do with that god, and yeah, I don't know, some say it does. So what are you gonna do? Anyway, so that is the reference to that. That's where the one time it's actually used as a name, but actually, where is it? Oh, here's another one. So Deuteronomy 32. I think we just showed that one. When they're talking about, here's in Psalm 78, 48, it's mentioned. Here's when God gets really mad. Yeah, mosquitoes in here. when God gets really mad and wrathful, I think this is the God that shows up. Let's see, what is this? Let me see what verse. Psalm 78:48, I think. 48. So yeah, about here he starts to get mad. Here, he turned. All right. How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. They tested God again and again and provoked the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power or the day he redeemed from the foe. And then it says he turned their rivers to blood so they could drink from their streams. He sent them swarms of flies, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. He gave their crops to destroying locusts, food of labor to the locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail and their sycamores with frost. He gave over their cattle to the hail and their flocks to the thunderbolts. And he let loose them his burning anger, wrath, indignation, distress. Anyway, that's God's wrath and anger. So that's the time we got. Let's see, there's other ones. So yeah, the 10 plagues. I think. Let's see, there's Exodus, what is it, 12:4? I don't have that up. I could probably pull it up. Let's see. Yeah, Richard, we don't really, if he wants to believe in Christianity and you don't, it's everybody's own business. We don't really care what, if somebody else believes something that we don't. So, yep, to each his own on this channel. All right, let me find. Let's see if I can pull this up. It's easier on my phone. Psalm 70, Job 5:7 is another one. I think it's Job 5:7. Job chapter 5, verse 7.
According to Return to the Word Ministries, Bible passages. Question. Job chapter 5 verse 7 states, "Yet man is born to trouble, as the sparks fly upward."
No, I don't think that's it. Maybe it was 9. Now to the next one. Psalm 76:4.
According to Bible study tools, for glorious are you, more majestic than the mountains of prey. For you are glorious and more majestic than the everlasting mountains.
Oh, I have to pull the whole thing up. Actually, it's easier to pull it up on here. Song 8:6. And we're going to go over the characteristics of this deity. Yeah, so this is another reference to this God. Place me over. This is Song of Songs 8, verse 6 and 7. Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal over your arm. Love is strong as death, is jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Many waters cannot quench love, rivers cannot sweep it away. I got a mosquito in here. If one were to give all the wealth in one's love, it would be utterly scorned. All right, yeah, I got a mosquito, and you know what? Mosquito is getting attracted to this light on the screen. But they get in at night when I'm letting the dogs in and out. So let's talk, let's read about a couple more things about Resbeph. We have about 15 minutes left here. Resbeph. Yes, he is. There are a lot of these things. He was a god associated with war and plague. Originally worshipped in Ebla in the third millennium. Yeah, by the way, this was 3000 BC, and then he kind of phased out. Well, what was it? Probably 500 BC or something. But he was going strong. Like he came around 3000 BC. So I mean that's a long time. Resbeph was a god associated with war and plague. Originally worshipped in Ebla in the third millennium BC. He was one of the main members of the local pantheon, and he was worshipped in numerous hospices, some of which were associated with other nearby settlements, such as Tunip. Now, I wondered, do I still have that map? I don't think it's on the map. Oh, yeah, here it is. Tanis. No, I guess not. I don't have it on the map. Resbeph, god of plague and of healing. Shadrapha, god of medicine or healing. Shakar, and Shalom, twin mountain gods of dawn and dusk, respectively. And there's another god that this one's kind of associated with. I've that we talked about Shalim, because we know somebody with that name. Shalim, Shalim, which is another one of the Canaanite gods, and Shekar, and those are both kind of healing healing gods. Which this thing kind of is. It's kind of weird because it brings pestilence and disease and stuff and war, but it can also kind of be. Oh, and it's also associated with Mot, which remember Mot was the god of death. I think we went over that one last week. Mot, the god of death, M-O-T. So this Resbeph is kind of associated with God because of death, Mot, the god of death, and also associated with other gods of life, which is kind of weird. It's kind of in the middle there, because he can bring both death and life. So, holy goddess of love, that we went over, Mot, and yeah, so he's just the god of pestilences, the devourers. These are some creatures who fought Baal Hadad in the desert, and we went over Baal. I don't know if we did, because remember there's different Baals depending on the region. I think it was. Let me keep going here. Resbeph. All right. And twin gods, yeah. Well, they're all kind of all the gods seem to kind of overlap. Because remember how so the Egyptian gods overlapped with the Olympian gods, and they overlapped with the Roman gods, and actually the even the Israelite god, even the gods of Israel is overlapping with the Canaanite gods. You know what I mean? They're all overlapping. Really, they all overlap. And so if you just think of like God as one big God, you could kind of, I mean, you could just look in the Bible. There's a little bit of everybody in there. Sometimes God's nice, and sometimes he's wrathful, and sometimes he's not jealous, and sometimes he's very jealous, and sometimes he says don't kill anybody, and sometimes he says kill everybody. And so yeah, it's just I think it's just all a mixture of gods, and I think it depends on what somebody is seeking. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're having trouble having kids, you go to the fertility god. These are like doctors. Like now you go to you have trouble going to having children, you go to the fertility doctor. You have trouble doing this, you go to the other doctor. You know, Now they're called doctors. Instead of going to these gods to solve your problems, they go to doctors to solve their problems. Which I uh, do not recommend. Anyway, I'll just wrap this up here. Okay, so Resbeph, a god of associated with war and plague, originally worshipped in Ebla in the 3rd millennium. Oh, I was going to see if Ebla was on that map. Is it Ebla? Ebla. Grace was talking about Ur and Uruk. Anyway, I just saw that on this map, Grace. But I don't think that place they're talking about is on this map. Here's Mari, Palmyra, Syria. Ugarit, is that what they just said? It is. Ugaritic. Yeah, so it's kind of a Phoenician god. It's just like they said, seek and you shall find. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it just kind of came. One second. Yeah, so see how it says Resbeph, Ugaritic, 3rd millennium BC. And then you go to this map. Oh, I got a mosquito. And here is Ugarit. I think that's what they're talking about. But here's Grace. Here's your, and there's Uruk. Right here. Oops, Uruk. Uruk was the city. Yep. Right here, and Uruk. So it's because wasn't when Cain killed Abel, was he was exiled somewhere, right? Was it here? Or, anyway, there's Sumer or whatever. But like this Babylonian, I mean, not just Babylonian, I'm talking about Mesopotamian, 10,000 BC. So all the verticals, straight up and down verticals, all Mesopotamia, which is 10,000 BC. They've got records, you guys, of these people being. And by the way, so not only do records go back 10,000 years, these people had, Uruk was the city. These people, so see Babylonia, I mean, not Babylonia, I keep saying that. Mesopotamia was, and this is where these Bible stories come from that are in the Old Testament. Not all of them, but some like Job and the story of the flood and Jonah. I'm not sure about Jonah, but Job, these older ones. Anyway, these are Mesopotamia. 10 Commandments, I think, are probably from here too, but because they had kind of the same as the 10 Commandments, not exact, but pretty close. But anyway, so this goes back 10,000 BC because you say, no, the Bible only goes back 6,000 years, but Adam and Eve go back 6,000 years, but when Cain killed Abel, God exiled him to, I think, was it Ur? Where was here, I can find out. Where was Cain exiled to? Where was Cain exiled to?
The land of Nod.
Oh yeah, it was the land of Nod.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. Genesis chapter 4 verse 17 relates that after arriving in the land of Nod, Cain's wife had a son with him, Enoch, in whose name he built the first city.
Okay, but no. Abraham came from Ur. Okay. Actually, you're right. You're right. Now, this is weird because Abraham came from Ur. You are right about that. You're right. And so they got to explain how Abraham comes out of Egypt, ends up in here in the wilderness by the Red Sea. for 40 years, and ends up in the land of Canaan. But he is from down here. You're right. And that's why Abraham, the stories around there, very coincidentally, have this type of a Mesopotamian, taste to it. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it, flavor, whatever. It's because I mean, and they got, and then they have to like. That's what I think. I think the stretching of people's ages. Oh, it's pronounced without the F, like like fur instead of fur. Thank you. Supposedly the city of Uruk was the very first city ever. Well, that's probably true. Because the people from Mesopotamia only went up to here. If you can see, none of them made it to the Mediterranean Sea. But yeah, that's how far they spread out, ever. Oh, this is the first one ever? Uruk? Yeah. Because, right, so, I mean, when Cain killed Abel, God exiled him to the land of Nod. Where is the land of Nod? Where is that? Anyway, what land of Nod? And then he put a mark on Cain so nobody would hurt him. Who won't hurt him? And what do you mean, wife? What wife? Does mom have a sister? I mean, where is all these people coming from? What city? A city? I thought they were the first people. No, they weren't. That's for Tony. There's records. There's cities. They had legal systems. They had all kinds of stuff back 10,000 years ago. And you know what? I don't think the whole earth got flooded either, because there are flood stories from all over different cultures, but there are also cultures where there was no break in history. Like there's some places that they went all the way from 10,000 or whatever. They went all the way through the age of the flood. When was the flood? 25. When was the flood? 2800. When was the flood? I totally forgot. 2800 BC. 20. What year was the flood? Oh, you gotta say Noah's Ark. 5000 BC. No, it wasn't that far. What year was Noah's Ark flood?
According to Wikipedia, 7 pairs of clean animals, 1 pair unclean.
Yeah.
7 years to gather animals.
We know all
Noah
about
uses
that. And you know what? That's funny because there's 2 stories getting them animals on the ark. One, it was just 2 by 2. And the other one, they're clean animals, 7 clean ones and 2 unclean ones. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We're gonna go over those double stories. Thank you. That's more like it. 2400 BC, which is right around here. Right around here. That's too much. So that is, anyway, that's this part right here. So, yeah, I mean, maybe God overflowed the Mediterranean Sea and just drowned all these people out. Ask her where the land. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah, see if she's on her toes. Where is the land of Nod?
According to Wikipedia, Land of Nod is the name of a hamlet in the East Riding of
No, New Hampshire. Here, okay. Here's another one. Land of Nod. East of Eden. All right. Which should be over here somewhere, right? Because, wait. So here's the Euphrates. Here's the Tigris. Here's the Nile. Okay, so here's the Euphrates and the Tigris. Where's Eden on here? Yeah, she went there. You know what? I can find it. I can pull it up on another map. Hopefully they'll. Yeah, let's find out where the land of Nod is, because I'm guessing it's gonna be somewhere here, and so it was somewhere in Mesopotamia. I'm guessing. And yeah, you check it out where these origins of these Bible stories are. It's Mesopotamia, which that's why they don't know who wrote it. Oh, it's the old books, Job. We don't know anything. Right, and same with all right, here. Let's see. Where is the land of Nod? Ancient map. Oh, come on, dog. You gotta get out. Get out from under my desk. Oh, here it is. Okay, hold on a second. It is, and the other. Okay, it's at the top of the Persian Gulf. Okay. Oh, here. So here's the Euphrates River. Eden. Here's the Persian Gulf. Now I'll show you then this one. Land of Nod. Garden of Eden is in Turkey. City of Enoch. Land of Nod is all about pretty much Saudi Arabia. Land of Nod. Garden of Eden right there in Iraq. Garden of Eden right there in Iraq. There's your right there. Look at. Yep. There's Ur. There it is right there. Garden of Eden. There's Ur. Yep. Land of Nod. So yeah, so he got the boot right to there. Yep. Yep, there it is. Interesting. Yep. The Lut Desert. Wow. So okay. That's in Genesis 4:17. Relates that after arriving in the land of Nod, Cain's wife had a son with him, and that was Enoch. So he got the boot over here. So somehow he had a wife, though. No, what does it say? It was his sister Lilith or something? That's what some tales say. I don't know. But anyway, so here you got Iran. All right, Persian Gulf, Garden of Eden. There's Ur, which we saw on the map. Ur. We're on the other side of the Persian Gulf. So go back to this map, and you'll be able to see exactly where it is. This map. It's gonna be right down here. Right down here. Well, there's Ur right there. So the land of Nod is actually Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia right here. Land of Nod. Basically, right, all this area here. Which, yeah. Anyway, so that's where it all started. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so you got Abraham, or was it Moses? Who was? No, it was Abraham. Abraham comes out of Ur, but somehow he's a baby over in Egypt, getting floated down the Nile River. So he goes from a baby in a basket here, grows up, kills somebody, and ends up. And then they wander the desert stuff, Or no, he didn't. Where did he go? But these are labeled as with the old names, you guys. I mean, this is an ancient map, so it's not your well, not it's got the names, but it's what should I say? The borders. Yeah, you don't have really the borders here, but anyway. And so, I mean, you got to ask yourself, okay, so if God says, okay, you Israelites, you're so special. We're going to have the greenest, most fertile land just for you. But the problem is, there's people living there and they've been there for thousands of years. But I think you Israelites are so good that you should have this land. So, I mean, I think a perfect God would have just kept people out of there if you wanted for the Israelites. Okay, so they go in there and say, oh man, giants are there and it's so scary. So God says, all right, that doesn't. You don't trust me, so we're going to wander this little area here for 40 years. When it wouldn't even take you, what, a year to walk across there? You could easily figure it out. Just go on Google Maps, go on, I've done it on this live stream. It's been a while, but we've done it before. Just go on Google Map and you just start out here where they crossed. Did they cross it here? Or did they cross it here? One of these little rabbit ears they crossed. Anyway, so how long does it take? You can go on Google Map and type in from here. How long it take from go to here to here on foot, and then you go up to the top of the map where it says car, airplane, bicycle, on foot. If you go on foot, so go on foot, click on foot, and it'll tell you it's not going to take that long. Sure, it's heck ain't going to take 40 years, but okay. So 40 years, they just wander in circles until whatever they die and the next generation's ready. Then wouldn't you think in the meantime that God would just like get rid of these people and clear out the land, get it ready for the Israelites because they're going to come in and they're so special that they should have it? Because to me, this is really no different than the white man coming and over to America and killing all the Native Americans that lived here for thousands of years and say, this is our land because God said we're special. This is our land. So we're going to kill every man, woman, and child. And then, anyway. Yeah, and they do know their directions. You're right, because they got stars in the sky. And they got a sun and they got a moon. So anyway, they could go by the stars. They could go by the sun. They know where east and west and north and south is. Yeah, they know what direction. So why would they go in circles for 40 years? Yeah, exactly. The stars are there. And so there's whatever. So okay, so for 40 years they're going in circles. And for some reason they don't know how to get out of there. And then after 40 years they go back and there's still people there. Now you have to go. Okay, but wait a minute. When we're out in the desert, the commandment you gave us was do not kill. But now you're saying we're supposed to kill every man, woman, and child, except didn't they take the virgin women for themselves? Whatever. Anyway, sometimes they kill everybody. Sometimes they keep the girls and whatever. But anyway, so when they're wandering for 40 years, why didn't God just like send plagues and bugs and frogs and whatever, get these people out of here? So when they're ready and they're done screwing around, then it will be all empty and they can just move in. It's like giving a bunch of people apartment building, but you got to go and kill everybody in there first. Okay, guess what? We got apartment building for you guys. Yeah, you all can have your own apartment, but there's people living in there. You got to go and kill them. Every man, woman, child, kill them, throw them out, and then it's all yours. Anyway, hey, Patrick, good to see you tonight. So, I don't know. It seems a little self-serving that the people who wrote this story are the one who ends up taking this land from these people. And none of them follow the rules. Anyway. Good to see you, Patrick. Hope you had a wonderful day. Hope you had a good Tuesday. But anyway, so yeah, if you wonder why Cain kills Abel, they're supposed to be the first people, but somehow him and his wife pack up and move to another city, and God puts a mark on him so nobody will kill him. Who are all these people? What city? Right, right. And as a matter of fact, this Bible story only goes back 5,000 years, or no, or whatever. But the land goes back 10,000 years. The records go back 10,000 years. And not everybody has a record of flooding. I'm sure it felt like the whole world got flooded. You could flood my whole county, and I would think the whole world got flooded right before we all go under. And who's there to tell the story? Anyway, even if Noah and his wife and his 3 sons and their 3, so all 8 of them had a pen and a paper, and they all wrote down the story, how the whole world flooded. How do they know the whole world flooded? Yeah, it was flooded for as far as they could see, but how far can you see? If you're here, if you're flooded here, how far can you see? How do you know over here got flooded or anywhere? Anyway, yeah, I believe there's a big flood, but every inch of the earth, I don't know. Someday everyone, yeah, it makes me wonder too, Patrick, because there's a lot of things that just don't add up. You know what I mean? It's just like we're all these people somehow, this is their promised land, but somehow they all end up coming out of Egypt. Everyone's got a different reason. And then they have to explain, well, wait a minute. How can Adam and Eve be over here and be the first people, but then whatever. Well, you'd have to, something else happens 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 years later. Well, you see, back then they lived longer. Well, wait a minute. He would have to be 800 years old for them to be over there and over there 1,000 years later. And so their answer, I think, to come up is, well, people lived 900 years back then. Like, really? Well, wait a minute. How can Noah be here in this part of history, but then he's over here in this part of history? Well, yeah, you see, actually, Noah was 500 when he built the ark, and it was 600 when he, like, I thought about you a couple days ago, Patrick. Brought my Layla to the craft store. Wow, are paint supplies expensive? Yes. I have cut through the craft stuff at Walmart, and I'm thinking the same thing. Man, these hobbies aren't cheap. I think much is actually symbolic, spiritual meanings of something simplified for humans. Yeah, I think there's this like a basic story with lessons and stuff. It's like the 10 Commandments. I think they're good. But I think a lot of it is lessons, kind of, and really what the Old Testament to me, I've realized, my conclusion is the Old Testament is really the Hebrews' idea of who God is. And the more I study, now I realize it's multiple gods that were fused into Israel, today's God of the Old Testament. It's kind of a fused multiple gods put together, and they just kind of realize that, hey, these are all kind of the same God, and we're just going to call him Hashem, which means the name. We're not really going to call him by any specific name. So I think the Old Testament is really the Israelites and the Hebrews' version of who they think God is, And it's a man's book written by man for other men, because women are not even fully human, and neither are slaves. That's why I just talked to Grace about this day. That's why they don't ever count them. Like they'll say, a million men came out of Egypt, plus their wives and cattle and children, plus their belongings. I mean, so women and slaves and children are just belongings. And so like I was telling Grace, we laughed today about a biblical marriage. Are you kidding? You don't want a biblical marriage, at least the women don't, because a biblical marriage is where a man purchases a woman, and you can call it the wife or whatever, but it's a woman, and you purchase a woman. Just like, and they also purchased concubines, extra women for sex. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're just pretty much a purchase, and that is your property, exactly. And that's why on the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's house or his wife or his bunch of other stuff. Right, because she's listed in property, and she's actually less value of the house than the house, because the house is one. Don't covet your neighbor's house. Don't covet your neighbor's wife. Well, that commandment is not for a woman. Okay, because I'm pretty sure I have no way I'm going to be covet my neighbor's wife. You know what I mean? Divorce, it's also not. That's men's rules for other men. Adultery is men's rules for other men. Mr. and Mrs. Yeah. Mr. and Misters. Actually, it's Mr. and Misters. Division of Babel feels symbolic of something profound that started in the spirit world. Spiritual origin, not earthly. Well, Patrick, I think that we have a modern day Tower of Babel right now, where everybody's trying to the new world order, one world order. I think that's the Tower of Babel. I think it's your modern Tower of Babel. It's what we're going today with all the worlds coming together as one big power. I think that's the Tower of Babel. Just history repeating itself. I mean, but yeah, you don't want a biblical marriage. I mean, yeah, but like I said, there's not one single love story in the Bible. A man buys a woman, and that is, I mean, he takes a woman. Not even, he takes a woman. So there's like nobody falling in love in the Bible, nothing like that. I'm trying to grab your other comment here, Patrick, but I can't scroll on this phone. Hold on a second. But yeah, so last thing you want is a biblical marriage. Well, the women anyway. The guys might like that. Each paragraph is simplified, yet I think it had levels of spiritual symbolism. How I see it. Yeah, levels of symbolic meaning. Yeah. I'm not wise, just trying to understand. Yeah, no, we all are, Patrick. That's what this channel is for. We're just friends that are gathering together, learning. We're just here to study. Nobody's a teacher. We're just all students. We're just learning. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you don't want. That's why I have to laugh. We're married. We have a biblical marriage. Like, okay, poor girl. No, you don't. You don't have a biblical marriage, because if you had a biblical marriage, she's got kind of like a title card. Okay, you buy her, she's got like a title card, a bill of sale, and and you can sell her or give away or whatever. But but she's property, so you can't touch your other guy's property. And And that's something that's Garden of Eden here. I'm going to show you real quick. But anyway. Yeah. Oops, there you go. Isn't that interesting? Oops. Need a book or something. Put this under. Anyway, I'm about ready to wrap this up and get off of here. But anyway, I think it's interesting. The Garden of Eden, land of Nod. Anyway, right there is Kuwait. Here's Kuwait. I mean, this is where, as far as they know, this is where civilization, humans started. Right here, right north of Kuwait. And yeah, here's the Garden of Eden. Here's Iraq. You can see it, Iraq and Iran. Anyway, so did I miss anybody's comments or anything? Yeah, but I think that's what they're doing right now. How they're joining the countries are, the United Nations have already been in cahoots with each other. They'll just take these little countries that are not down with the program, and just take them over. And if the dictator or the person in charge of the country doesn't want to go along with the project, then they just kill them and take it over. I mean, there's no stopping what they're doing. So, but yeah, the United Nations, it's no secret. They keep saying it's going to be a new world order. No, it has been for a long time. But see, if you think the thing isn't here yet and it's still coming, then nobody's going to fight back because you think it's not here yet. But no, it's here. It's been here, and it's been here. Anyway, my phone is not scrolling or doing nothing. It's locked up. It's annoying. All right, now I'm on this thing. I can see you guys. As we all are, Patrick. Yep. Oops. Lost my spot. I think much is okay. Levels of symbolic meaning. Yep, property. Yep. Let me see, now I can see your comments. It was so different than the way people were. Yeah, but was it? I don't know. Maybe it was it. How different was it then? You know what I mean? Because if you've ever looked into like these mudslides and all this, where you got like layer after layer of civilization, you know what I mean? I think it gets to where it's so I think it gets to the Tower of Babel part, and I think God just like melts it down and starts over. And I think that's probably the technology. Who knows? That could have been a high-rise apartment building. Who knows? But yeah, I think it just humanity gets to a certain point. He starts over. But things were really horrible. Things are not bad compared to how it has been. And I mean, just think of the medieval days, all these other times where there's actually on street corners, instead of like we got a CVS and a Walgreens on every corner. Well, they had and in every town they had they had place where you could just burn your child in a fire for a god. And I mean, yeah, I think it was really horrible. I think it's been way worse than it is now. My genealogy on one side was part French native Indian slave woman who married a French explorer named Kuok. Really, you got your genealogy? Thank you, Mom, Cat, and everyone. Thank you, Grace. Thanks for coming in. These studies are deep, and I'm enjoying learning all these differences in the blending of the gods. Thank you, Kathy. Well, thank you, Grace. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you guys' input and all your comments and being here as friends and studying. I guess she was married to him like a slave. I don't know how they met. Yeah, yeah. They just they. I mean, I'm telling you, marriage is this. Real marriage is this. You commit to somebody. Period. That's marriage. You commit to somebody. And adultery is going behind that person's back with somebody else. Period. That's pretty simple. There's no marriage license or anything like that. When they gave a certificate of divorce in the Old Testament, it was so she could go be sold to somebody else. Richard had some good contributions tonight too. Hope he joins us again. Yeah, it was good to see Richard here with us tonight. Thanks for coming in, Richard, Patrick, Dee, Grace, Omar. Yeah, it was nice to see Richard. I think he was from Texas. Good to see Richard tonight. Good to meet you. Grace, Omar, Dee, and Patrick. And anybody else that came in and visited, thanks for coming in. Yeah, hope to see y'all again. We have today's Tuesday. We got 2 more nights of these Canaanite gods, and we will be done. And we're gonna start next week. We're gonna go over one of my favorites is doublets, and we're gonna do it a little bit different this time. We're gonna do we're gonna start in Genesis chapter 1 and 2, the 2 creation stories. We're gonna show you doublets where there's the same story in the Bible twice. All right, and if people can read and read and read and read, and you'll never realize it that you've just read 2 completely different stories. You know what I mean? Until you really deep dive. Fun stuff knowing your genealogy pattern. Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. It's hard because there's I don't know. They say get different results or something, but I think the best is getting it through your family. I don't know. Anyway, well, thank you, Dee. Dee, did I say goodnight to Dee? I think did I forget? I just scrolled back. I think I said Dee. Omar, Dee, Grace. Anyway, good night to you too, Dee. Stay cool. She's got a couple days under 100 degrees. Anyway, stay cool, Dee. Thanks for coming in. Grace, my parents like genealogy research. It's one of their interests. Oh, so your parents, that's the best way to get it. It's from your own family members. Is that genealogy.com or whatever? Yeah, I would skip that. That's, I think, something creepy behind that. Anyway, and people get different results with the same swab. So keep faith alive and your best understand. That's right, Patrick. I think my advice is to be a good person, treat others the way you want to be treated, and do the right thing. You know what I mean? The sign of a good character is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. I guess my belief is a mix of what makes sense. I think that's a good thing, Patrick. I think common sense and what makes, and yeah. Grace says goodnight to D. Hey, 10-year anniversary for my brother. Yes, bless you, sis. Yes, a shout out to Grace's brother. He just celebrated 10 years of sobriety, 10 years of life. Thank you, God. So yes, a shout out to Grace's brother who just did the 10-year anniversary of no drinking. Praise God. Yes, do the right thing. That's right, Patrick. And do unto others that you would have done to you. Treat others the way you want to be. Awesome. Sobriety is good. That's right, Patrick. Nothing worse than being screwed up out of your mind and ruining your life. Anyway, a shout out to sobriety and everybody. Anyway, God bless you all. Thanks for coming in. I love you guys. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Everybody have a good rest of the evening and have an awesome Wednesday hump day. And hope to see you tomorrow night. Praise God, my brother is mine again. Yes, praise God. Grace has her brother back in a wonderful 10 years of sobriety. And that's what I'm calling living life, man. Not just being alive, but living life. Yep, chat there. You too, Patrick. Congratulations on your brother, Grace from D. Yes, awesome. 10 years of not drinking. That's 10 years of just awesome. 10 years of living actual life instead of being a slave. It's freedom. 10 years of freedom. Praise God. All right, cool. Yep. Tell your brother congratulations from all of us, Grace. We're proud of him. God is good. Earth is a mystery. That's right. I think we all know who God was when we were born. I don't know. That's what I think. God is one that tells you do good and don't do bad. All right. Whatever your belief is. Good night, everybody. God bless you all. Peace. Shalom.